Hi again, everybody. Today, Sadhguru shares more wisdom with us, and his seventh rule for success is fix yourself. This is the greatest thing ever, that empowers us and gets us to lock in to the fact that this, our brain, the most powerful thing in the universe, has the capability, by making a choice like fix yourself, to go after your happiness. It is something that comes from within. It's nothing outside of you. Nothing at all no material thing can bring this. But you can fix yourself. I got great news for you. I am on the path to fixing myself. And I believe 95 to 98% of us can go on this path of taking our life to the true level of happiness, inner happiness that we deserve. I hope this helps everyone. Have a great day.
Legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed, breathing in through our noses and out through our mouth. Bringing our energy in control, our thoughts in control. At any given moment in time, we take control of our breathing. We take control of our thoughts. So right now, let's see ourselves. Let's see it in our minds so clearly that it feels real. Let's see ourselves doing the best we can on all the exercises and stretches and movements we do today together. Feel the power of that determination, your power to determine, to take control of your breathing, your mind, your body, and your life.
Messi, give it to him and pray. Oh, he's done it! Through
Arnold Schwarzenegger arrived in America broke, with no connections, and didn't speak English. They said he'd never make it. He became a champion, a movie star, and a governor. Arnold was born in a tiny Austrian village after World War II. His family was poor. His house had no plumbing, no heating, not even a proper bed. His father was strict, even abusive. But Arnold had a dream. He wanted more. At 15, he saw a bodybuilding magazine and made a decision. He would go to America and become the best. People laughed at him. His family told him it was impossible. But Arnold didn't listen. He trained relentlessly. At 18, he was in the military. He even went AWOL just to compete in his first bodybuilding contest. He won. At 21, he made it to America. No money, no English, just a thick accent, a dream, and an unstoppable work ethic. People mocked his voice. Casting directors rejected him. They said his name was too weird and his body was too big for Hollywood. But Arnold refused to quit. He trained harder. He became the youngest Mr. Olympia winner at 23 and won 7 titles. But he wasn't done. He set his sights on Hollywood. They told him no one would watch a movie with him as the lead. Then came Conan the Barbarian, and he became the biggest action star in the world. And still, he wasn't done. In 2003, Arnold became the governor of California. They said he wasn't smart enough, strong enough, or talented enough. He proved them all wrong. Now it's your turn. What's your excuse? If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. It's past midnight. On an Austrian army base in 1965, an 18-year-old recruit climbs out of a barracks window, heart pounding in his chest. He sneaks past sleeping guards and scales a tall fence in the darkness, scraping his hands as he pulls himself over. He knows if he's caught, he'll be thrown in a military jail, but he's willing to risk everything for a crazy dream. That young soldier's name, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this wild midnight escape is only the beginning of one of the most incredible journeys of our time. How does a poor farm boy from a tiny village in Austria end up a bodybuilding champion, a Hollywood icon, and the governor of California? Let's find out. Early life in Austria. Arnold Schwarzenegger was born in 1947 in the tiny village of Thal in Austria. His family was very poor. He later recalled, "I had no money, we had no TV, we had no refrigerator, we had nothing as kids, but I was rich because I had a dream." From a young age, Arnold dreamed big. He wanted to become the greatest bodybuilder in the world and even to use bodybuilding as a ticket to Hollywood one day. This was an outrageous dream for a boy in rural post-war Austria. He lived in a house with no plumbing, an older brother who got all the praise, and a strict father who didn't understand him. Arnold's father, Gustav, was a police chief and a former soldier. He was tough as nails, an alcoholic who demanded discipline. He clearly favored Arnold's older brother, Meinhard, over little Arnold. At home, Arnold felt invisible and undervalued. His father often belittled him and even beat him when he stepped out of line. And when Arnold mentioned his crazy dream of becoming a bodybuilding champion, his father laughed at him. So imagine being a teenager and having your own dad call your dream stupid. That was Arnold's reality. It was a very uptight feeling at home, he later said. He couldn't relax under his father's roof. In fact, years later, Arnold was so scarred by this that he refused to even attend his father's funeral. But if anything, his father's harshness only fueled Arnold's fire. He decided early on he would prove his worth to the world even if his father didn't believe in him. And this hungry ambition became Arnold's escape. He said, "For me, life is continuously being hungry. The meaning of life is not simply to exist, but to move ahead, to go up, to achieve, to conquer." Arnold was hungry to achieve something big, something that would take him far beyond the confines of his little village. Discovering bodybuilding. At 15 years old, Arnold's life changed in an instant. One day, his soccer coach took the team to a local gym for a little weightlifting, just to help the boys stay fit. Arnold walked into that gym and his mouth dropped open. He was mesmerized. Huge men with sculpted muscles were lifting heavy iron plates, waging war with the steel weights, as he described. In that moment, something clicked inside him. There it was before me, my life, the answer I'd been seeking, as if I'd finally stepped onto solid ground. Arnold wrote of that first day in the gym. He knew he had found his calling. From that day on, Arnold threw himself into weightlifting with a passion like nothing he'd felt before. He discovered he had an almost superhuman ability to pack on muscle. He trained harder than everyone. If the gym was closed, he would literally break in, once smashing a window on a Sunday just to get his workout in. While other kids were relaxing or going to parties, Arnold was grinding, doing endless squats, bench presses, and curls in pursuit of his dream physique. His new obsession wasn't exactly popular in 1960s Austria. Bodybuilding was seen as a freakish fringe activity at the time. When Arnold hung photos of muscle-bound champions on his bedroom wall for inspiration, some of the village folk whispered that something was wrong with him. Even his parents were so alarmed that they called a psychiatrist to cure Arnold of his strange new passion. The doctor told them not to worry. He claimed it was just a phase Arnold would grow out of. But Arnold wasn't going to grow out of it. In fact, he was just getting started. Arnold had tasted his purpose, and nothing would stop him now. By 17, he boldly declared that bodybuilding was going to be his vehicle to worldwide fame. He devoured muscle magazines and idolized bodybuilding heroes who would become movie stars like Steve Reeves and Reg Park, the Hercules of the big screen. They had done exactly what Arnold dreamed of doing, build a champion's body and parlay it into Hollywood fame. Arnold told himself he would do the same, only bigger and better than anyone before him. This was ambition on overdrive for a teenager in a tiny town, but Arnold's mind was set. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description to go grab it. I'll see you there. Fighting to become a champion. In 1965 at 18, Arnold had to serve a year in the Austrian army. It was mandatory. But not even the Army could derail his dream. That year, he learned about the Junior Mr. Europe bodybuilding contest scheduled in Germany. It was his first chance to compete internationally. The only problem? He was stuck on base in basic training and no soldiers were allowed to leave. So Arnold hatched a daring plan. He decided to go AWOL, absent without leave, to enter the contest. That night, Arnold snuck off the base, the scene that I described earlier in this video. So picture young Arnold crawling under barbed wire and jumping onto a train with nothing but a gym bag. He had almost no money, not even proper posing trunks for the competition. He was literally gambling his freedom for this dream. A day later in Stuttgart, Germany, the AWOL soldier stepped on stage barefoot in borrowed posing trunks under the bright lights of the Junior Mr. Europe contest. He flexed his muscles that he had punished in the gym day after day, and the judges' jaws dropped. That night, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the runaway soldier, won first place. He was crowned Junior Mr. Europe. It was his first taste of real victory. But triumph came with a price. When Arnold returned to his base, Army officers threw him in military jail for 7 days as punishment for desertion. They gave him nothing but a blanket on a cold stone bench and meager food. Was it worth it? To Arnold, absolutely. In fact, news of his victory spread, and soon the Army brass were so impressed that they pardoned him. His commanding officer even held Arnold up as an example to other troops, saying, "Look at what Schwarzenegger did just to win this title." Arnold's insane risk had paid off. And that win lit an even bigger fire in Arnold's belly. After the Army, he returned to civilian life with one mission: become the best built man on the planet. He moved to Munich, got a job in a gym, and trained harder than ever, twice a day, like a man possessed. In 1966, he entered the Mr. Europe adult competition and won that too. Now people in the bodybuilding world were whispering about this Austrian monster with 20-inch biceps who seemed unstoppable. Next, Arnold set his sights on the biggest prize of all: Mr. Universe. In his first Mr. Universe contest in London, he arrived as the young hotshot everyone was curious about. Arnold was confident, maybe too confident. On stage, he hit his poses, showing off those massive arms. But when the scores came, Arnold got second place. An American competitor with a more polished physique beat him. Arnold felt crushed. This was his first major defeat. He could have given up or made excuses. Instead, he ate that humble pie and let it motivate him to work even harder.
Good morning, everybody. I want to share with you a powerful thought that I just thought of today, and it's helped me so much in my life. It's from Stephen Covey, and it is this: nobody or nothing can hurt you without your consent. Think about that statement for a moment. At first, it might seem ludicrous. So think about a thought, a comment, or any sort of negative thing that may happen to you. Let me give you an example. So I work with students all the time, and one of the things the younger ones especially will come up to me with is, "Mr. Francis, so-and-so did this to me," or she said this about me. And then I always say to them now, "And who decides whether that's true or not?" And then they stop. You should see the look on their face. And then they say, "Me?" I said, "That's right. You decide what's true about you." So I hope this helps everyone. Apply it to your life. You're not a victim. Have a great day.
To this near side, Di Maria off the post, off the goalkeeper, and away to safety, but knocked in the rebound. Who else? Lionel Messi.
He stayed in London, trained relentlessly for another year, and came back in 1967 with new determination. Sure enough, at just 20 years old, Arnold Schwarzenegger became the youngest Mr. Universe champion in history. He achieved the first step of his dream, but he was nowhere near done. Arnold won the Mr. Universe title again the next year in 1968, solidifying his dominance. By now, he had attracted the attention of Joe Weider, the famous bodybuilding promoter who ran the Mr. Olympia contest. Weider saw star potential in Arnold and invited him to compete in America. This was Arnold's golden ticket to the land of his dreams. That year at age 21, Arnold packed up and moved to America. He arrived in Los Angeles in 1968 with a duffel bag, $20 in his pocket, and almost no English. So just imagine a young immigrant who could barely speak the language in a strange country all alone, carrying nothing but muscles and a dream. It was scary, but Arnold was ecstatic. He was finally in the USA, the place he had fantasized about for years. Settling in Venice Beach, California, Arnold trained at the now legendary Gold's Gym alongside America's top bodybuilders. They quickly realized that this big Austrian had something special, an unparalleled work ethic and unstoppable confidence. In 1970, at just 23, Arnold did the unthinkable. He swept the 3 biggest titles in bodybuilding in the same year, winning Mr. Universe, Mr. World, and Mr. Olympia. He was now the undisputed king of the sport. In the years that followed, he won the prestigious Mr. Olympia contest a total of 7 times, a record at the time. Arnold had conquered the bodybuilding world with sheer ambition and hard work, just like he promised himself that he would. But remember, his dream didn't end with muscles. Even as he was lifting trophies, Arnold was already plotting his next giant leap into movies. He had used bodybuilding to get to America. Now he wanted to use it to storm Hollywood. And that would prove to be the toughest challenge yet. Hollywood dreams and rejection. In 1970, Arnold got his first shot at the movies. A low-budget production company needed a muscle man to play Hercules in a silly adventure film. Joe Weider put Arnold's name forward, hyping him up as an experienced Shakespearean actor from Europe. Just a little white lie to get his foot in the door. They cast Arnold and he was thrilled. This was literally part of his childhood dream now coming true. The movie Hercules in New York turned out to be pretty terrible. Arnold's thick Austrian accent was so hard to understand that the filmmakers dubbed over his voice in post-production. And his last name, Schwarzenegger, was deemed too long and strange for the credits, so they billed him as Arnold Strong. The film flopped and almost no one saw it, but Arnold didn't care. He got paid $10,000, which he promptly invested in real estate in California, his first savvy business move in America. More importantly, he learned his first lessons about Hollywood. When Arnold started knocking on Hollywood's doors for more roles, he faced a wave of rejection. Agents and casting directors took one look at this giant muscle man with the unpronounceable name and heavy accent, and they laughed. They told him, "Look, kid, you'll never be a leading actor." Arnold was bluntly told he had 3 problems. His body was too bulky and weird for movies, his accent was too thick for American audiences, and his name was far too long. Schwarzenegger, what? You should change it, they said. One producer even advised him to lose 30 pounds and learn to speak like John Wayne if he ever wanted a real part. This was a harsh dose of reality. Imagine, by 1970, Arnold was a world champion athlete, but in Hollywood, he was treated like a nobody. Now, most people, they would have given up right there, but not Arnold. He remembered all the times people had called his dreams crazy. His father, that psychiatrist, all the naysayers back home. Each time, Arnold had proved them wrong with his hard work and results. He was not about to quit now. In fact, hearing no from Hollywood just made him angry and even more motivated. Back in Austria, they said I could never be a champion, and I became one, he told himself. Now they're saying I can't be a movie star? I'll just have to work harder and make it happen. So Arnold tackled Hollywood like he tackled the gym, with relentless training. He knew he needed to improve his acting and speech, so he started taking acting classes in 1974 and even hired an accent reduction coach. Night after night, he practiced English tongue twisters, 3,000 thistles thrice thrust thoroughly, trying to soften that Germanic Z into thee. He worked on his acting, his speaking, everything. And the irony is, no matter how hard he tried, Arnold never fully lost his accent. And later, that signature accent became one of the things audiences loved about him. As he said decades later, all the stuff that the Hollywood producers said was an obstacle became an asset. His uniqueness was actually his strength. But it took a few years of struggle. Throughout the early 1970s, roles were sparse. Arnold even missed out on playing the Incredible Hulk on TV because his producers thought his frame was too massive. They gave it to Lou Ferrigno, a bodybuilder actually smaller than Arnold. But Arnold kept pushing. In 1976, he finally caught a break with a supporting role in the film Stay Hungry, playing, what else? A bodybuilder. It wasn't a huge movie, but Arnold poured his heart into it, and it paid off. He won a Golden Globe Award for Best Newcomer for that performance. It was a sign, however small, that Hollywood was starting to take him seriously. Then in 1977, a documentary called Pumping Iron came out, which followed Arnold's quest to win his 6th Mr. Olympia title. In Pumping Iron, audiences saw Arnold's charisma and cheeky confidence on full display. He joked around, he trash-talked his competitors with a smile, and then he dominated on stage. The film became a cult hit and made Arnold somewhat of a pop culture figure. Suddenly, people who'd never set foot in a gym knew the name Schwarzenegger. He was building a fan base. Still, Arnold craved that breakthrough role, the kind of role that would make him a true movie star. It came in 1982. After years of being shrugged off, Arnold was cast as the lead in Conan the Barbarian, a fantasy action film. The director, John Milius, took a chance on him, and Arnold was determined to reward that faith. He spent months training for the role, not just pumping iron, but learning sword fighting, doing stunts, and yes, further improving his speech. When Conan the Barbarian hit theaters, it was a smash hit, grossing over $100 million and thrusting Arnold into the spotlight. Audiences loved his physicality and screen presence. Arnold's huge muscles and even his accent made this ancient warrior feel real and formidable. With Conan and its sequel, Conan the Destroyer, Arnold's name was now synonymous with action hero. Then in 1984 came the role that would cement Arnold as a legend, the Terminator. James Cameron, a young director, cast Arnold as a near-silent cyborg assassin from the future. And in a funny twist of fate, the very things Hollywood initially mocked Arnold for, his imposing physique, his icy accent, made him the perfect Terminator. As the killer robot T-800, Arnold didn't have to say much beyond the now famous "I'll be back" line. His look and presence did the talking. The Terminator became a worldwide phenomenon, and Arnold's performance was iconic. Suddenly, that impossible last name, Schwarzenegger, was on posters everywhere, and everyone learned to pronounce it. Arnold had done it. The former no-chance immigrant had become a Hollywood superstar. He had muscled his way into the exclusive club of top-billing actors through sheer willpower. Through the late 1980s,
Hi again, everyone. Today, Sadhguru shares with us his rule number 9 for success. And it's a huge one, I think, especially in light of today's world and especially in light of all the mind health challenges, anxieties, depressions, things that are rooted to our thoughts. So this is what he says to us. He says, don't set incentives for sickness. So what that means is you are the creator and the controller of your mind, your thoughts. So you are the one that decides what is going to hold you back. So an example is things like the weather. We often say, oh, today the weather's not sunny and not exactly the way I want it. So immediately we start to put ourselves in a state where we're allowing the weather to control us. It's the same with our health, especially our mind health. If we stay in that negative state, we are perpetuating the feelings that come with it. Hope this helps, everyone. Have a great day.
As he strikes. Oh, extraordinary!
Arnold dominated action cinema, hit after hit, Commando, Predator, The Running Man, Total Recall, and the blockbuster sequel Terminator 2, Judgment Day. By the early 1990s, he was one of the highest paid actors in the world. He even showed his range by venturing into comedy, a move nobody expected from the Muscle Man. When he starred opposite Danny DeVito in Twins in 1988, people were skeptical. Could Arnold be funny on purpose? The answer was yes. Audiences loved seeing him poke fun at himself, and Twins was a huge hit. Arnold proved he wasn't afraid to take risks and reinvent himself again, silencing the critics. He followed up with another comedy, Kindergarten Cop, in 1990, which was also successful. A big part of why these films worked was Arnold's willingness to laugh at himself. He didn't mind being silly or vulnerable on screen. He enjoyed it, and fans found it endearing. By this time, Arnold Schwarzenegger seemed unstoppable. He had achieved not one, but 2 towering dreams of his. He became the greatest in the world at his first passion, bodybuilding, and conquered a second field, movies, where everyone said he would fail. Setbacks, triumphs, and never giving up. But every great journey has its setbacks, and Arnold's story is no exception. In 1993, after a decade of successes, Arnold faced a major box office flop. The big budget movie Last Action Hero, which many expected to be a surefire hit, bombed with audiences and critics. For the first time in years, an Arnold Schwarzenegger film was labeled a failure. The media pounced, saying that Arnold's golden touch was over and his star power was fading. Imagine hearing that after all he'd accomplished. Arnold, it's over. It was a gut punch for Arnold. He had poured his heart into that film, and now he was publicly humiliated with Razzie Award nominations and nasty reviews. Many action stars might have slowly faded away after a blow like that, but if we learned anything about Arnold, is that he doesn't give up when things get hard. He treats failure as extra motivation, just like the defeats and rejections earlier in his life. So what did Arnold do? He picked himself up, he dusted off the tabloids, calling him a has-been, and he got back to work. He knew he had to come back with something big. So in 1994, he teamed up again with James Cameron to make True Lies, an action comedy spy film. And Arnold was back on top. True Lies was a smash hit, reminding everyone that Schwarzenegger was still a box office king. The lesson here is never count Arnold out. He literally said, "I'll be back." And he meant it on screen and in life. And that resilience, the ability to rebound from setbacks, became as much a part of Arnold's legend as his one-liners. But in the late 1990s, Arnold had little left to prove in entertainment. He was a living legend now. He had fame, he had fortune, he had worldwide respect. He'd become a U.S. citizen now and was living the life that he dreamed of. Most people at this point, they might rest, maybe retire to some beach with their millions of dollars. But Arnold, no. He was looking for the next mountain to climb. He often said, "Stay hungry," and he lived it. So in the back of his mind, a new ambition was growing. Arnold wanted to make a difference beyond just entertainment. The country that had given him so much opportunity, the United States, was facing challenges, and Arnold felt a call to serve. People around him, they were surprised when whispers started that Arnold might go into politics. Politics? What's a Hollywood action hero doing thinking about government? But those who knew Arnold's life, they understood. He had conquered every challenge he set his sights on, and he loved America deeply. It wasn't so far-fetched that he'd want to give back and lead. Rising to governor. In 2003, California was in turmoil with a special recall election for governor. Arnold saw an opportunity to take on a new kind of challenge. So in true dramatic fashion, he announced on the Jay Leno show that he would run for governor of California, shocking the political world. The moment he announced, it sounded like a Hollywood plot, right? A muscle man movie star running to govern the biggest state in the United States. Many people laughed, dismissing it as a publicity stunt or some vanity project. But Californians were unhappy with the status quo, and Arnold offered a more optimistic can-do message. He hit the campaign trail with the same energy and charisma that he showed on screen. Now, it wasn't easy. The press dug into his past, and opponents threw all kinds of attacks at him, trying to paint him as just a dumb actor or smear him with scandals. It was like the Hollywood rejection days all over again. People saying, "You don't belong here. You can't do this." Once again, Arnold faced doubters and hecklers. So how did he respond? With confidence and humor. In one incident, a protester even threw an egg that splattered on Arnold's suit at a rally. Arnold barely flinched. He took off his coat and said back, "This guy owes me bacon now," making the crowd erupt in laughter. He turned potential humiliation into a memorable moment of charm. His ability to connect with people, to be authentic, to be funny and tough all at the same time, it won over a ton of voters. And on election night, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the kid who grew up without a fridge or TV, the immigrant with the funny name and accent, he was elected governor of California. It still sounds a bit unbelievable when you think about it. The margin was decisive, and Arnold showed he was not just a novelty candidate, he was there to lead. When he was sworn in as the 38th governor on November 17, 2003, standing next to his wife, Maria Shriver, even he had to marvel at the journey. In a speech shortly after, Arnold spoke from his heart about what this moment meant. "My fellow Americans, this is an amazing moment for me," he said. "To think that a once scrawny boy from Austria could grow up to become governor of California, that is an immigrant's dream. It is the American dream." He had achieved the unimaginable. Arnold served as governor for 2 terms from 2003 until 2011. And true to form, he attacked the job with enthusiasm and worked tirelessly, just as he did in every other phase of his life. But for our story, the exact politics don't matter as much as the symbolism of his victory. Arnold had proven something profound. No dream is too big. He rose from poverty and obscurity to reach one of the highest offices in the land. It's a journey that actually reads like a movie script, except it really happened. The power of ambition and hard work. Arnold Schwarzenegger's life story is the testament to the power of ambition, of hard work, and just refusing to give up. He taught us that it doesn't matter where you come from or how many people tell you no. What matters is how badly you want it and how hard you're willing to work. Think about it. A skinny kid from rural Austria, living with no heat or running water, dared to dream of standing on top of the world. When people mocked him, he trained harder. When life knocked him down, he got back up. He ignored the naysayers and even used their doubt as motivation to push him even further. And every time Arnold hit a wall, he found the way through it. Or he just smashed right through in true Schwarzenegger style. Arnold's journey took him from farm chores and strict discipline to pumping iron in a dusty gym to the glamour of Hollywood and into the halls of political power. And at each stage, there were setbacks and rejections, a father who didn't believe in him, society that misunderstood him, an industry that initially rejected him, and critics who tried to write him off. But Arnold's story shows that if you stay hungry and work like hell, you can overcome anything. His life is living proof of his own mantra: stay hungry, stay driven. He literally conquered every dream he set, and even after reaching the mountaintop, he looked for new challenges to grow further. So, when you find yourself facing doubters or obstacles on the way to your own dreams, think of young Arnold breaking into a gym on a Sunday because nothing was going to stop him from training. Think of Arnold hearing it's impossible and deciding, I'll do it anyway. Use that as inspiration to keep you going. Embrace the rejections, let them motivate you, and never stop moving forward. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's watch.
Back to controlling our breathing. Back to controlling our minds. Feel the power of your heart beating faster right now. Your heart. That's the power of determination. Your heart always knows what's best. Your heart can feel and sense things that your mind cannot. That they both need each other equally. When our minds, hearts, bodies unite, that energy, our power to determine, that's determination, who we really are. Growing up.